News.
Herald and News, your news now.
The Herald and News.
Empowering the community.
Basin Views.
Herald and News, your news now. Klamath Falls, Oregon.
The Herald and News.
Podcast. Empowering the community and serving the Klamath Basin. This is the Herald and News Basin Views podcast. Greetings and welcome to Basin Views, a Herald and News podcast featuring interviews with local experts discussing issues important to the Klamath Basin. I'm Kurt Liedtke with the Herald and News. This week our guest is Janah, volunteer for the Klamath Toys for Tots program, here to detail how the program works to provide a happy Christmas for kids and much more. Janah of Toys for Tots, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I always like to start these off before we delve into the Toys for Tots program and all the good that it does in the area to get to know our guest a little bit more. Could you give us a little background on who Janah is?
So I am a freshman that attends Mazama High School, and I am in mostly honors classes, and I absolutely love school, and I also really enjoy community service and anything I can do to help out my community.
So have you volunteered with other organizations in addition to Toys for Tots?
Yes, I have also volunteered for organizations such as the Mission and things along that line.
And what got you involved with Toys for Tots?
So when I was 6 years old, I was walking through Walmart with my mom, and I saw a Toys for Tots box, and I asked her, "What's this box for?" And she told me about the program a little bit, and we actually got involved with volunteering, and ever since then, I've just really enjoyed being involved with the program.
So what do you enjoy most about Toys for Tots?
I enjoy most just the ability to be able to make a difference in my community and also put so many smiles on so many kids' faces during Christmas time.
It's an interesting organization. It is synonymous with the United States Marine Corps.
Yes.
And there's a fascinating history behind that of how it was established by a Marine Corps reservist in Los Angeles who was friends with Walt Disney. And that's the whole train connection as the logo is. Walt Disney was a huge fanatic of model trains. Can you give us a little bit of history of how Toys for Tots came about?
Yes. So in 1947, Toys for Tots was actually brought up by Major Bill Hendricks, and he was just starting it in his community. And during that first year, he actually gave out about 5,000 toys. And it just was so popular during that year that the next year, the Marine Corps actually took it on. And now every year we pass out as a nation around 18 million toys.
You know, it is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And when people think of nonprofit organizations, sometimes it's thinking of disaster relief or trying to cure certain diseases and whatnot. Toys for Tots, its mission is a little bit different, but a lot of people don't realize that actually oftentimes Toys for Tots is actively involved in emergency response, not necessarily in terms of emergency supplies, but making sure that, you know, families can cope with it in terms of helping out kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. We found that really it's not just the toy piece, but it's the piece of just bringing hope and joy during that, even hard times as well as mostly Christmas time.
It's my understanding Toys for Tots was involved in helping out people who were victims of 9/11 attacks. And this year, Northern California has been devastated by wildfires in the community of Paradise. Is Toys for Tots involved in any way in terms of helping out?
Yes, we are. So the distributors actually down there are working really hard to help supply all those toys. And so we are actually heading down there next week to help them out as well. And so we'll be able to help the coordinators down there make things a little bit easier for them.
So the Toys for Tots program, it started in Los Angeles by a member of the Marine Corps, and it's grown over time. How has Toys for Tots evolved over time on both the national level and locally here in the Klamath Basin?
Yes, it really has grown so much. So here, it started off as we were getting the people that were coming in to sign up, and they would tell us their ages of their kids, and then we would go through and pick out the things for them. But now they are able to sign up, and then they'll come in and have kind of a personal shopper that'll be able to walk through with them and help them pick out the toys for their kiddos.
The program's also grown in terms of scale and scope. What's the approximate gift giving that's done here in the Klamath Basin and on a national level?
So last year we actually gave out about 10,000 toys and helped around 3,000 kids. And we also added Lake County to our supply list last year. So now we cover not only Klamath, but Lake County as well.
Well, that's terrific because there are a lot of outlier small communities across Southern Oregon and Northern California. Places like Doris and Tule Lake and Adel and Christmas Valley and all sorts of areas where being there can feel so isolated and small. It's nice to know that this program isn't just centric to Klamath Falls, but it's really a regional program, right?
Yes, definitely.
With the program's evolution, It's my understanding that you now have a new location in Klamath Falls as Toys for Tots continues to grow in the Klamath Basin, right?
Yes, so this year we are actually located in the old Sports Authority building, which is next to Joanne's Fabrics. And every year it's a little bit of a challenge because we have to find a building that is able to be donated to us, just because we would like to save all the money that we can to be able to spend that on toys. And so this year this building was actually donated to us, and I am so grateful that it was.
So how crazy hectic is it this time of year in preparation? Because we are just a few days away now from Christmas, and I'm sure the goal is to be able to deliver everything by Christmas Day, right? So
Yes,
you're
definitely.
probably as hectic working over these next couple of days as UPS drivers and postal workers trying to get everyone's packages out, right?
Yeah, so things are very busy around our location right now. We're just trying to get everything out on the tables and organized so that when those people come in, they'll be able to go through and have everything well organized.
So give me a sense of how it functions. How do people go about donating to the program? And for those who are accepting donations, how do they collect?
So this year we actually have had tons and tons of community support, which I'm just so thankful for. So we actually had tons of drop-off locations, and so we'll have our boxes out, our Toys for Tots boxes, and people that will want to donate are able to put the toys in those boxes. And then we also take donations at our location. And so people that are coming in to sign up, they'll fill out their form and then get a time on either Friday or Saturday. And so they have their time, and then on Friday and Saturday they'll be able to come in, and then we'll have those personal shoppers that'll be able to walk through with them.
Fantastic. So this program is synonymous with the United States Marine Corps, but in comparison, we do have a very large military presence here in the Klamath Basin, but it's Air Force. We don't really have a very large Marine Corps contingent here. So what is the local support from United States Marine Corps, be it active members, veterans that are actively involved in the program?
So we do have our very own recruiter, and he is around to help us whenever he can be. And we also are tied in with the Leatherneck Club pretty well because they are also a good support for us too.
None of this just happens. It takes a lot of work behind the scenes. Ask any parent who knows Christmas doesn't just happen. There's a lot of lead up to it. I'm sure even though December may be the busy time for the Toys for Tots program, there must be fundraisers that go on throughout the year, coordinating volunteer efforts and trying to establish timelines. We must have stuff in by this time. How does it work during the non-December craziness for the Toys for Tots program?
So yes, we definitely have fundraisers that go on throughout the year. And so for those fundraisers, we are able to gather money, and then closer to the Christmas time, we'll be able to go shopping and purchase all those toys, and then gather everything in and do our sorting and counting. So it definitely happens before December, and it is really an all-year thing, and that's, I think, another reason why I love it so much.
Ballpark figure in terms of how many volunteer hours go into Toys for Tots each year?
I think over 2018, I have over 600.
Sacrifice a social life there just a tad?
A little bit. Yes, a little bit.
There is something that is very special about Toys for Tots and giving and nonprofits. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people think of nonprofits as either emergency relief or maybe medical research. This doesn't necessarily fall into that category, but there's something very special about making sure that a kid can have a proper Christmas, right?
It really is special, and it's really special to me because we found that over the years, it really is not just about that toy that they're receiving. It's really making the difference in their lives. And sometimes maybe in our heads, we just think, oh, it's just a toy, or people that are donating or thinking about donating are just thinking, oh, it's just a toy. But really, it does make such a big difference in their lives.
Now, in terms of the type of gifts that are being collected, there's been various drives and donations, but kids these days are picky, and there's a lot of options out there in terms of toys that are on the market. Do you find that there's certain age groups that are harder to collect for others, or areas where perhaps you're coming up short in some things, maybe teens versus toddlers or preteens, where maybe you need some more donations for this specific age group?
Yeah, so items for teenagers are definitely more needed than the younger kid items. And something I found is that over the years, it really is easier to shop for those younger kids, but those teenagers also need items as well.
So how do people go about getting actively involved in Toys for Tots, either volunteering or donating? Is there a process to go through for that?
So for donating, if you have a donation, you can just find a box and drop it off, and it is really appreciated. Every donation really does make a difference. And then if you are looking to volunteer, you can stop by our location or give us a call, and we will definitely talk to you about that.
And just a reminder for where that location is now?
Next to Joanne's Fabrics.
So how late can people still donate for the Christmas season? Because like I said, we're only a few days away at this point now.
I would say until Thursday. Since we are distributing on Friday, we will definitely take donations until Thursday.
Now, after Christmas is over, how can people still be involved?
So donations will really be accepted throughout the whole entire year. And even though we may be done for our distribution after Saturday, we definitely will save those things for the upcoming year and give us a good head start for that year.
The importance of Toys for Tots on a local level. The Klamath Falls and even Klamath County is an area that statistically, at least, tends to delve on the poorer side in terms of the state of Oregon. Certain parts of Klamath Falls have been maligned despite efforts of local groups to try to improve them. There's some families that just don't get the idea of a traditional Christmas because they just can't afford it anymore. So the importance of Toys for Tots for the local community and what kind of impact that would have on the area if Toys for Tots didn't exist.
I believe that a lot of, like you were saying, a lot of kids would go without during Christmas time if Toys for Tots wasn't available in Klamath Falls. And I think that having the program available here really is an advantage for the community because it really does make a difference for so many people.
In terms of volunteers, you're on the younger side. Is it a lot of seniors, a lot of parents? How many people are actively involved in volunteering for it? And do you kind of run the gamut in terms of age groups?
So we do have a good amount of volunteers, which I am so thankful for. And I am really trying to get the youth more involved. And I've found that I think without all of the community service that I have done and without the Toys for Tots program, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And even though I am young, it really has shaped me into the person I am. And so I think it's just so important to have the youth involved, and especially the idea of youth giving back to youth. I think that's just wonderful, and it really does make you feel so happy inside, and then to be able to see the difference you're making in the community is just another thing.
So give me the whole elevator pitch. In a couple of seconds' time, I'm a fellow student that you run into, we strike up a conversation, and you need to convince me to become a volunteer for Toys for Tots.
So through the Toys for Tots program, we actually give out toys at Christmas time, and volunteering is just so much fun. You get to sort through all the toys and put them out and then see the difference that you're making in the community. So if you have any free time, I really highly recommend volunteering.
And of course, people can continue to donate now. We are into the final stretch run to Christmas. I know a lot of people who may have procrastinated are probably out shopping like crazy, trying to find that perfect gift. But while you're out, it's a good opportunity to maybe pick up something else on the side and make a quick donation. Give us, once again, the dates and times for pickups and where people can donate.
So distribution is on Friday and Saturday, and you can donate at any of our drop-off location spots, or like most of the supermarkets or the little businesses, and then also our location, which we are in between Joanne's Fabrics and Famous Footwear.
Janah Moore is a volunteer with the Klamath Falls Toys for Tots program, making sure that everyone in the Klamath Basin can have a very Merry Christmas. Janah, thank you so much for coming in to share some information with us about the Toys for Tots program.
Thank you. I'm just so happy that I was able to be here.